Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Express, which is becoming everyone's favorite talk show. It is profoundly real and interesting, so without any further delay, please help me welcome back to the stage the beautiful and expressive director of Express, Carolyn. Carolyn, take it away.
Hello, everyone. This is Express, your host, Carolyn. For you, the people. Without you, this show would not be a success. So I'm so grateful that you have taken the time to come and to listen to this episode. Of course, I'm sure you're sharing and you're liking and you are subscribing, both for the visitors and for those who have been following all along. The reason to do that is so that others can know more about the channel. Again, we have Miss Juanita Craft, part two. We couldn't do all in one, so we've decided to do part two, and that's what we're going to do. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask Miss Juanita Craft to come on in.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, how are you? We meet again.
Yes, yes, I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. I'm super excited to have you. I'm really, really happy that you took the time out from your busy schedule to come and be with us today. Now, for those of you who are just coming in, this is part two, as I said before. So, for you to really get the full content of this episode, the episode before and now of what Miss or the conversation between Miss Juanita and myself, Juanita Craft and myself, you've got to go watch the other episode. All right, so we're now going to talk about music. She's a singer, she's a writer, she'll tell you. Let her tell you. So let me keep quiet so she can get started. What inspired you to be the singer you are? How did it start?
Well, um, I started singing. Actually, that's probably one of my first memories of myself when I was probably about 2 or 3 years old.
Wow.
And I remember being in front of the church, my sister and I singing. Uh, we only had maybe a couple of songs, but that time was probably one, The Whole World in His Hands.
Okay.
And we would sing in church, and then we'd go sit down, and some old lady would give us those brown cough drops. Those nasty
Thank
brown
both
cough
of
drops.
you.
That's what I remember.
Yes.
And then started out just singing in the children's choir, and my sister and I were always soloists. And then my mother, who was very, I would say, very doting, um, and she would put us every talent show and television show that she could put us in when we were growing up. And my sister could play piano.
Okay.
I think she was just born to play. I mean, maybe like 4 years old, she could play. So she
Mm.
played, and she would sing background, and I would sing lead, and we just sang wherever anybody wanted us to sing. And so as far back as I can remember, I've always sung.
Okay.
And anybody that knew me back then knew that I sang. That was just who I was. Two things: I was really smart in math, especially science, and that I sang. Those are two things that everybody that knows me know about me.
Yes. Wow. And then as you got older, you didn't lose it because you just kept singing, right? But
Yeah.
what inspired you to go to the next level? That is like writing songs and recording.
Well,
Your
like I said,
CDs that are out.
always sung in the choirs, and I've been in some type of choir since I was 4 years old. And so I'm 66 years old now, so we're talking over 62 years
Mm.
of singing in the choir. I sang in the Glee Club when I was at Spelman, And after that, I didn't really do much of anything except sing in the church choir. But people would always say to me, "Oh, Juanita, you ought to do a CD. You ought to do a CD."
Yes.
I'm like, "How do you do a CD when you don't have any songs or anything like that? And plus, CDs aren't free. You have to pay money to make CDs." And so I did this personal development. I'm really big on personal development.
Mhm.
I went through this program called Landmark International, and one of the outcomes of that is I created a possibility of writing my own songs.
Mhm.
Now I had tried to write songs before, but I was not successful. But as a result of this create this possibility in Landmark, I told a friend of mine, "Hey, I created a possibility of write my own songs," and I said, "I want you to introduce me to." Uh, he had already introduced me to Babby Mason a few years back. I said, "I want you to tell Babby I want her to teach me how to write," and he did. So it was like Labor Day 2005. She invited us to her home, and she says, "Well, I'm not teaching online or anything, but I am teaching at Atlanta Christian College, and you can audit the class." And she says it's on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Mind you, I work full time, so I was at work at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays, and this happened to be the Monday and the day before. So I said, "Well, I can say I can't come because I'm at work, or I can go to work and tell my manager I'm taking annual leave every Tuesday from 1 to 3."
Mhm.
And that's exactly what I did. I went to work the next day, told my manager I'm taking annual leave every Tuesday this whole semester because I'm learning how to write music. And
Wow.
she said, "Okay." And that's what I did. And so I wrote, just started. Well, she taught me everything about it. That's why I'm such an advocate of mentors. I would have never figured out how to write songs without her tutelage and showing me exactly what a good song looked like and what ingredients I needed to have a great song. And I use her concept in everything that I write. I make sure that I have all of the concepts and ingredients that she showed me. So the mentorship, Babby Mason, and grateful for that.
Wow.
And so I've just been writing ever since, and I love it. It's actually added a new dimension to my life because prior to that, I mean, I was an engineer. Of course, I did that every day. Then, of course, I was a singer. But now I'm not just a singer. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer,
Right.
um, composer. All things that I never thought
Dream.
that I could do because I'm not a musician. I don't play an instrument. So I knew I could sing and maybe write, but to come up with the melodies and to produce them and all that, I never thought I could do any of those things. So it just changed who I see myself as.
Yes. Just because you took the time,
Yeah.
make that effort to
Yes.
educate yourself and made
Yeah.
you stand out.
Do the training and then find a mentor. Somebody can show you how to get started. At least sometimes getting started is the hardest part.
That was good. You educate yourself, and now you're able to produce your own music, your own producer. You write.
Right.
Now, I want to tell you, I want to let you know that, and I've told you before, Juanita, haven't I? There was a time in my life um, when I, when I learned that you did sing, and I got your tape. In fact, you did give me. I didn't have to buy that video. You gave. Do you remember that you gave me that CD?
I probably did because I just give
Yes.
stuff away all the time
You
anyway.
gave me that CD.
Uh-huh.
I think you gave me because I did something. You were like awarding me, really. That's that. You
Mhm.
were sort of like, giving me like a little
Encouragement.
incentive and encouragement. Yes, and I really loved how you sing anyway. But I have played your music in my car during when I was going through a very low time in my life. Was so encouraging. And every time I hear these songs again, I can remember where I was, during the time of my life, that time. And I really want others to listen. to your CDs. And I'm going to do something extra. I want us to sort of like, I'm not going to play all the songs, but just maybe first minute or so. And I want you for each of those songs, because all of those songs, it had about 6 or 7 songs on that CD, and
Mhm.
you wrote them, right?
Yes,
Composed it completely.
completely.
And that's why it meant so much to me, because the words, I could identify with the words. Learn to forgive. I think that's when the I started really to forgive, because
Yeah.
every time I would listen to you sing and the words were meaningful. And I would encourage for all those who are listening, go and go get that CD. Serious, it's not a pitch for a sale. And you're gonna see that if you can listen to the few words that I'm gonna let be played right now, and then she's gonna talk about it, you'll see some sense. And when you play it over and over and you get to know the words, it just really, really warms up to you. So the first song that I would like us to play is Learn How to Forgive. Learn How to Forgive. And at the end, you're gonna tell me what what motivates you, what strikes you, what challenge was you were you going through, why you were able to compose such a beautiful song.
Don't sweat the small stuff. That is what we like to say. But it's easier said than done. When things don't go our way, we hold on to grudges. Cause we think that we are right. But we are not the judges. All our precious in His sight. Learn to forgive as Jesus forgives you. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord, for He knows just what to do. Forget the past and focus on the new. Once you learn to forgive, you'll be ready for your breakthrough.
Yes. Learn to forgive. And the
Wow.
part about if you learn to forgive, you will get your breakthrough. I was hurting. I was really hurting at the time. Tell me more about it, that song.
Well, ironically, I went through some a very very hurtful time as well, but I didn't write the song until gosh about 10 years later
Oh,
because I knew what I was experiencing that time. But um, the thing is that a lot of times when we're hurting, we're going through something very very painful, and we all have our point of view.
yes.
Okay, so you telling your story and you're saying this happened to me, oh, what was me? And that other person is the bad guy, and we want them punished. We want God to make them feel what you feel. Sometimes that you what hurts the most is that they don't even care how you feel. You're certain and they're laughing about it. They laughing, they're literally laughing at you hurt.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my God, how am I going to? I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't, and so, you know, um, I was in a lot of pain too. So in the hook part of the song, go to that part.
Yes.
It says when you even though your wounds are deep
Yes.
and your heart is
Not in
filled
great
with grief,
grief. Yes. Yes.
don't relive the act. Guess what? Every time you think about it, it's like it happened all over
All
again.
over
It's like you're
again.
living life. You're reliving every single thing. It
Yes.
said, don't
Yes.
relive agony or wallow in defeat. If you just free up your heart, you will let the healing start.
Not. Yes.
Forgive and you will see, you will soon have victory. And
Yes.
it's like once you're sitting there, still mad, still, hurting, and it's like you can't move on because
Yes.
you still living
You're
in that
putting up
pain.
with it. Yes, yes,
It's not
yes.
hurting the other person, it's only hurting
Hmm.
you.
Yourself,
And
yes.
so you have to, for your own sake,
Like,
learn to forgive and be ready for your breakthrough. That's
yes.
just bottom line. You can't have a breakthrough if you
Without,
stuck.
yes.
And so that's the lesson that that wrote that song for me. Nobody but me, because I
Mm.
had to say learn to forgive. And
And
also
for me too.
one more thing.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I realized that if I had a been the judge, if I had been the judge, something that person would have been punished by the burned at the stake. Okay,
Mhm.
I mean, my punishment would have been so cruel. And say, thank God
You
we
weren't judge.
are
You're
not
not the
the
judge.
judges.
True.
All are precious in His sight. So God, uh, because what did God say? He said, "Vengeance is mine,"
Yes, 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 yes,
saith the
yes.
Lord. I didn't even understand what that
And that. But now
meant
you
until
understand, you realize, man, and now you can even talk about it because it's
yeah.
gone. But once you're going through it, you're like, whoa,
Oh my God.
your
Yeah,
heart is
yeah,
about to burst. Oh,
yes.
dear Lord, thank you.
Everything, all you can think about is your pain.
Pain.
And so I wrote that song for me. And just I knew that I couldn't be the only one that needs to learn to forgive.
Forgive, yes,
And
yes,
that's what happened. So
yeah,
I'm real happy with it. It reminds me of a earth, wind, and fire kind of thing.
yeah.
Learn to forgive.
Forgive.
Like, yeah.
Okay, what about God has a plan?
Well,
So
so
let her play.
okay,
Let us hear that. Let us hear that.
okay.
There is something you were born to do, something worthwhile that thrills and fills you through and through. You recognize your purpose, but you choose to wait. Tomorrow is not promised, so please don't hesitate. God knows your destiny, your calling to fulfill. He will give you what you need to do as well. God has a plan for you. Do what He wants you to. He'll open up the gate and make the crooked places straight. He'll make the mountains small, tumble every wall, and clear a path anew. God has a plan for you.
Yes, God has a plan for you.
Yeah,
Tell
that was the
tell
first
the
song I
audience.
ever wrote. That was the
When
first.
did you discover that God had a plan for you?
Well, I was during that period to say everything that I wrote was like after the fact. Okay, after I was
Uh-huh.
going through this struggle and pain and agony, and there was a period I'm trying to move forward and I couldn't move forward, and it seemed like everything I tried, I was like hurdles. I was jumping over hurdles, stuff in my way. I couldn't move, and
Mhm.
so I'm laying on the sofa one day, and I'm listening to a minister, and he says, and God said to His anointed, He said, if you want a God's anointed, you should sit up and listen to what I'm saying. So I stood up, I sat up and listened. He said, he says, if you do, when they said God said, he said, God said to His anointed, I will open up the gates and make the crooked places straight. And I was like, wow.
Yes, in the
So if
Bible.
I'm doing what it is God anointed me to do, then he's going to open up the gates and make the crooked place straight. I didn't have a song. I wasn't thinking about writing a song at the time. But when it came time, when I learned how to start my first writing assignment, I said, I'm going to say something about God, he'll open up the gates and make the crooked places straight. And I was, pondering like, how am I going to start this song? What is this about? So I'm sitting in church in the choir stand, and the minister said, when you do what God wants you to do, you will have his favor. That was my aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went home, I had fixed my plate for dinner. I ate my dinner sitting right at the counter. And I wrote that song from start to finish in an hour.
Wow.
God, when you do what God wants you to do, what he has for you to do,
yes,
he will open up the gates and make the crooked places straight. And you've heard it different ways. He says, your gift will make room for you. Your gift will put you in front of great men. It says it throughout the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to follow his plan for your life. When you follow his plan for your life, he's going to help you. He's going to be right there for you.
Yeah.
So that's what that song is about.
That's what came from. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Lift Me Up. We're gonna listen to that one. Lift Me Up.
Hardships are commonplace, stumbling blocks are too. One step forward and two steps back is a familiar avenue. Satan seems to stalk me, placing distractions strategically between me and my destiny to block my view. But I'm not worried about that, because I know God has my back, and I know that challenges will make me strong. And like a gardener prunes a tree, the Lord is preparing me so that he can lift me up where I belong.
I was about to sing. Oh boy.
Wow. That song, let me tell you something. It's simple, a few words. But a lot of times we go through tough times and we're like, why me? Why me? And, I said that, and, I went through tough times, just struggle. And one of the things I went through a really painful divorce. It was rather ugly. And I was very, very hurt behind it. So one of my church members asked me, said, do you miss your ex-husband? Do you, I said, well, let me tell you something. I liken it to someone that has to have a leg or something amputated. It's not like they wanted to have it amputated, but in order to live, they had to get that leg or that limb amputated. And but then sometimes afterward, they still feel that like they kind of feel like it's still there, but it's not there. And so that's kind of how I was feeling at the time. Of course, like, man, I wish that hadn't had to happen, but it had to happen. And so, when a gardener prunes a tree, he's cutting off the dead limbs, and he has to cut them off, because if he doesn't cut those dead limbs off, then I don't care how much fertilizer you're putting on that tree, it's all gonna go to the dead limb. It's not gonna feed the other part of the limb. So sometimes the people in your life that you're holding on to are really like dead limbs. You gotta let them go, and if you don't let them go, God will remove them from your life, and you won't have any say so at all. And he's preparing you for something else, but he can't give you what he needs to give you because everything he gives you is going to the dead limb.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
And that's what that song was about. Like a gardener prunes a tree, he's preparing me so he can lift me up where I belong.
Yes. Wonderful again. What about Come to Me?
We heard.
We're gonna have that one.
Okay.
Come to Me.
It was early in the morning, and the waves were tossing high. Jesus walked across the water, his disciples both nearby. And when they saw him walking, they screamed and shook with fear. But Jesus said, "Have courage, it is me, be of good cheer, good cheer." Peter said, "If you were Jesus, then perform for me this feat. Beckon me to walk the water that will garner my belief." So Jesus gave him power to walk the sea's land and prove the laws of nature must agree to his command. His command. Then Peter realized he had no floor on which to stand. He took his eyes off Jesus and forgot to hold his hand. And when he started sinking, his destruction he did dread. But Jesus lifted him from danger, and this is what he said: "Come to me, little faith, my ability."
Go ahead.
Come to me. Well, most of us are familiar with the story of
Sorry.
Jesus walking across the water, and
Mhm.
Peter stepping out on the water and walking as well. And as long as he had his eyes on Jesus, he was walking. When he took his eyes off Jesus
Okay.
and realized exactly what was going on, it's like, oh my God, I'm walking on
Sinking.
water. That's when he sunk.
Yeah.
And so that just a song that told a Bible story. And basically he said, Jesus told him to come to me, step out on the water and come to me. And if you're doing that, you can do anything. Basically, you can do miracles. You can perform miracles if you just keep your eyes on Jesus, and he will give you whatever you need to get it done.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much what that story was. And it's like every one of these songs is just something about do.
I wondered, you felt like you were Peter at the time when you were writing that song?
I don't know. I think that I just wanted to tell a story.
Okay.
I think that every song that I wrote told a story, some kind of a
Told a
story.
story.
It just was, most of them were my stories, but this just happened to be a story
The
that was
story.
already in the
Okay.
Bible.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
And there's more, but I just want one more. I found love. Let me hear
Oh
that.
yeah.
I found love.
I found love when I found you. I found love when I found you. Oh, I don't need to look any further because
Ah,
Yeah.
man, I'm telling you, those two words, joy and peace. Tell me about it.
I
What
found
does joy mean
love,
to
joy,
you,
and
and
peace.
peace? Love, joy.
Love, joy,
Yeah,
and
love.
peace.
I found love. Yes, joy and peace.
Oh, yeah. This was something that happened uh when I first, got out of college and all that. And you know what I talked about self-esteem and um, you know, how you should be treated and learning that from your father and all that kind of stuff. Well, I happened to just be in a relationship that was very what you call negative,
Hmm.
toxic. They call it toxic now. But you know, um, I remember just being just upset all the time. And so I realized when I sat down at my desk and I was at work and I'm like, somebody had said something to me like, why are you frowning? Every
Hmm.
time I see you got a frown on your face, what you frowning about? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have anything to smile about.
Okay.
And then I went and I felt ridiculous as soon as I said that. And I was sitting at my desk and I said, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Got everything going for myself. And why would I say something ridiculous like that? And then I remember that many years back when I was like in high school, and I remember just practically skipping down the hall, and one of the coaches said to me, "Every time I see you, you just smiling. What you so happy about?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Same question now. I don't
Uh-huh.
know. I don't
Yes.
have anything to frown
Different
about."
attitude.
I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What has happened between now and then? And I realized that, during that time I had gone to college and, I sang in a glee club, but we didn't really go to church. We just kind of sang at Sister's Chapel. And I didn't really consider that church. That's not the kind of church I'm used to, right? That
Mhm.
we grew up in a Baptist church. And then after that, went to Georgia Tech, and I really didn't go to church then. And then I moved to Ohio, and for the first couple of years there, I didn't have church to go to. And then during that time, when after that, I said, "What has happened in the last few years? What's changed for me? Because I ain't never be this negative."
Mhm.
And so I said, "Ooh, I need Jesus.
Mhm.
I need Jesus in my life. I gotta have Jesus in my life, as a matter of fact." And so I had met a lady, and they did this Black History choir there,
Mhm.
and I was always singing the choir. And she asked me what church I was going to, and I told her that I wasn't going to any church. And she says, "Why not?" I said, "Nobody ever invited me." And so she says, "Well, I'm inviting you to my church." And so um, I immediately went. I immediately went to church and got in the choir and started back singing. When I tell you my life was spiraling down, that just getting back into church just lifted me up, and my life turned around and did a U-turn. Okay.
Wow.
And lifted me back up again. And so what I realized is that you don't the love that you think you get, you just with somebody because you don't want to be by yourself or you're lonely or whatever. But I found love when I found
Right.
Christ
Right. Mhm.
again,
And real love,
rediscovered,
real joy and peace.
rediscovered in peace,
Mhm.
love, joy, peace. I said, and we cut it off before you got to the part where I said I was looking for love in all the wrong places, but
Places.
I
Yes.
found the
It's the
love.
word.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
was looking for joy in all the wrong places, and I'm
Yes.
looking for peace
Peace.
in all the wrong places. And then I want to thank you for the
Yes.
love and the joy and the peace that you
You
gave
give
to me.
me. Yes.
Such a just a song of praise, actually. Not a
Mhm.
whole lot of words, but
Mhm.
it meant a whole lot to me. And just a song of praise took me actually about 5 minutes to write the song,
Mhm.
uh, because it's simple. And but yeah, that's the background behind that song.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Who knew what 10, 15 years ago while listening to those songs that we'll be here discussing it?
Yeah,
Really. And I'm really encouraging those who have just listened to this conversation. Please go listen to those songs over and over. The first time you listen it is when you keep listening it over and over, and the words start sinking in and finding true meaning, that you really, really love those songs. So you have to keep listening it over and over. It's so good to have a conversation with you. But let's talk about now. I know you love people,
Mhm.
and you reach out to people, and you're very conscious about, being the head and not the tail, especially financially.
Mhm.
And and you believe that, listen, if you're doing something, and you whatever you need, any extra you need, you have to go for it. Tell me
Absolutely.
about that. Tell me about that. It doesn't
Well,
come to you, you have to go for it. Anything
absolutely.
you need. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to kind of go back a little bit. We talk about, as an engineer and being a single parent,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of discrimination in the job because the when it came time for like promotions and things like that, I had a manager that would say, you know what, you didn't talk to me enough. I think I'm gonna hold off on your promotion this time. And
Mm.
I'm gonna, you didn't, then if I ask questions, oh, you asked you too many questions, I think you're not working independently. So I'm gonna hold off on you. So he kept doing that to me. And here I am, a single parent. I'm like, I need my money. Okay, I'm doing the job. It's not like I'm not getting the job done, but you just, for whatever reason, keep making up stuff. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna stop fighting with this man, but I gotta have my money. So I went out and started a real estate appraisal business. And when I tell you, that thing blew up, and I made a lot of money with that. And it was basically because I wasn't going to sit back and let anybody hold me down. So I figured out a way to make it without their assistance or their support.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing that I do, and I haven't done this for many, many years, is network marketing. I love the whole concept of network marketing, always have.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I love most about it is because of you get so much motivation and leadership development just by building teams and learning how to deal with people and being staying focused and not giving up, not quitting. And so I've been doing that for a number of years. I've had quite a bit of success in the industry, and I'm telling you, I'm so grateful for just being a part of the industry because of the people that I've met, that are motivated and highly successful. Not necessarily the most college educated people, but certainly some of the most ambitious and some of the best leaders that I've ever met and run across. And I just think that for myself, it's been amazing personal development. But right now, one of the things that I've learned as a result of being in the network marketing industry is one of my passions, which is health and wellness. And
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of different things. I started out doing Amway, selling washing powders and all these other different things that didn't necessarily excite me. Then I did insurance, and I've just done all kinds of things. But what I found out was that what excites me the most, what interests me most, is health and wellness. And if it's not in that vein, it's tough for me to stay excited.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I'm working on a brand uh, called They Won't Believe Your Age.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time in my life, okay, all I think about is anti-aging. Everything got to be anti-aging and all of that. And so right now I'm promoting this. I said a website, Facebook, and all of that. This brand called They Won't Believe Your Age. And so the product that I'm promoting it's actually natural, and it uses phototherapy to activate your personal stem cells and actually not only slow down aging, but it's not anti-aging, it's age reversal. So when I heard about this product, I said, give it to me, like now. So I'm just really getting started with it. But I'm just excited that when you're looking for something, when you are looking, it will show up. I
Mhm.
promise you. It's like attraction. You've seen people talk about attraction marketing and the thinking real rich, thinking real
Mhm.
rich by Napoleon Hill. He talks about um, desire first. Okay, when you desire something
Mhm.
so bad that you can't stop thinking about it, you won't quit. But also how you elevate your frequency, how your mental frequency is elevated, particularly when you connect with God. Isn't that something? He
Mhm.
talked. He didn't say God, God. He said Jesus, Jesus. But he talked about higher being. He talked about infinite wisdom. And so in reading that, it made me like praying is real. Praying elevates your frequency. It makes you closer to God. And when you're closer to God, He can give you information. He can tell you what to do. He can give you ideas and literally words. Like when I'm writing a song, sometimes I come up with words and I'm like, I've never used that
Where
word.
did that come from?
I never used that word before. Where did that word come from? And then it's the perfect word. Oh my God.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
so I believe in that meditation and the praying and attracting what it is that you want for your life. And so the network marketing is just a way to make money. It's a way to save on taxes. Oh my God. And if I could tell you how much money in taxes I've saved, you'd be like, where I sign anything. I just want to have a home based business because it's really the best way that I know to write. I'll be able to write off some of the things that you spend money on anyway. And you can save several thousands in taxes every single year just from working from home and or having a part time versus going to Macy's or going to a job where you get paid a W-9 or whatever, a W-2, and you don't get business mileage, you don't get any of that stuff. So that's just for me. It's always been a thing. I'm gonna
Benefit.
always have an in home business. Yeah, and so, but yeah, that's just one of my passions. And I think with my sister and I both, we've been doing this forever, 30 plus years.
Yes. And the thing about it, you meet so many people. That's what
Yeah.
I like about that too. You meet so many people. But we're about to close off now, but I want you to give me, how should I say now? So, you look at your life and where you are now, progressing, going. What tips would you give to someone who maybe they're watching this show, they can sing and they really can write songs, but they haven't tried. They may be timid. Um, for whatever reason, they maybe even went into network marketing and said, "Oh, no, we're not going to do that." They maybe, I don't know. What encouragement would you give to someone who is watching this show to say, "All right, now I am going to get started"? Where would you say, where should they start from?
You need a mentor. Anything I don't know how to do, I find a mentor. If it's
Okay.
songwriting, I find somebody to teach me how to do it because me trying to figure it out myself, it could take me forever or never.
That's
Okay.
right.
Even when it came to like learning how to sew, which I talked about in the last
Mhm,
episode,
mhm, mhm,
if I was 5 years old when I first had the desire, it took me whole 7 years to learn because my mother didn't sew. She didn't hem dresses. She didn't sew on buttons. There was nobody to show me how. But
mhm,
once somebody showed me what to do and where to find the information, I was gone. I got it now. But
mhm.
if I had tried to figure it out while I was
Yourself.
trying myself, it took me 7 years. I could have been doing this when I was 7 years old. It took me till I was 12. So
Mm,
it's always the mentor who can do something in 10 minutes that it might take you a year to figure it out. It might take you 2, 3, 4, 5 years to figure it out. but a mentor can tell you your next best move in 30 minutes.
Mm.
So that just saves time, it saves frustration, and also, they
Shorten your learning curve, right?
it definitely
Knowledge.
shortens
Mm-hmm.
the learning curve with anything. So if you're stuck, don't know how to move forward, don't know how to do something that you really want to learn how to do,
Mm-hmm.
find a way to get a mentor. I mean, even if it's taking a class on Udemy, I learned how to do Canva. I was asking my daughter, "Can you fix this for me? Can you change that for me?" She whenever she get to it, whenever she got to it. It was an hour course on Canva, cost $12. I took that course, and guess what? I don't have to ask her for anything anymore. It's about self education. It's continuing to learn, um, finding mentors, being around people who know more than you, and also just stop making excuses. Find a way. If there's a will, and you've heard it before, if
Yes,
there's a will, there is
there
a
is
way.
a
So
way.
stop
Absolutely.
giving up on everything. Stop thinking you're too old. Stop thinking you're too this and that. Just decide, make a decision, and don't make any excuse. Just say, this is what I want to do. It's not about whether I'm gonna do it, it's just how. Now I'm gonna figure out how to do it, not if I'm gonna do it.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much for stopping by again and for sharing and just being so vulnerable so that our audience, I'm sure, have learned something. I've learned something too. I always learn something when I'm around you, Juanita. So now, with all, so I'm just going to say bye bye to you until we talk again. And who knows, we might have the need to bring you back on. So let me know. We'll keep in touch. And if possibly we'll have you back on some other time. But thank you again for being here and for sharing all that you've shared with us today. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me, and I really enjoyed myself, Carolyn. And
Yes,
thank you for doing
thank
this.
you.
I want to congratulate you for putting on producing this show. Because see, so many people would have said, "I don't know how to produce a show. How do I do something like this?" And look at you, you're doing you're doing this thing,
But God,
and I'm so proud of you for just making it happen.
yes, yes. Thank you. Keep praying for me.
I will.
Thank you so much. Bye bye now.
Bye
Thanks.
now.
Bye bye. Now, before we end, it was so nice to have Juanita again with us. So much experience to share. So humble, so easy to talk to. You know, she really, really is. And I trust you all go get those CDs and play it and learn. I that motivated me so much. I would play it in my car, in my house, in my apartment, and that was encouraging. So you never know. Go and do a produce a CD. Someone could be talking about it just like how we just start talking about her CD. You never know where, and don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for perfection. Some people, when they're about to do something, oh, I have to get this right. I have to get this right. Believe me, don't wait for perfection. As you go along, you'll get better and better at what you do. And as usual, I'm going to leave two thoughts with you today. And the first one is by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He says, music is the universal language of mankind. Definitely is. And there's another one here. It says, if you are working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision push you will push you. That was by Steve Jobs. If you are working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pushes you. So, guess what? Find something that you love to do and you will keep doing it. Until tomorrow, let's say bye bye for now from Express. This is Carolyn, your host.